anybody pops their head up will regret it. So Marines now that were left, running back to join the main force. And we have some loads being delivered. We have a short wheelbase Land Rover. We have a trailer for the Land Rover. And we think we've got a 103mm gun being delivered as well. You can see, ladies and gentlemen, how versatile these are. In fact, the commando helicopter force, when deployed in Afghanistan, a large amount of their work is bringing heavy equipment to the battlefield, to the forward operating bases. They bring not only battlefield equipment, but also pallets of water, because operating in very, very high temperatures is obviously very important to keep all of the personnel hydrated. It's a crucial role that these crews perform on a day-to-day basis. Are off. Helicopter free to leave the danger area, leave the landing site. And again, they will return to the carrier, re-roll. They can either reload with troops, they can reload with more heavy equipment. So if you look straight ahead, ladies and gentlemen, here come two more of our brave naval aviators in the mighty Sea King, with fresh troops to continue the assault on the enemy forces. So either side of the tower, ladies and gentlemen, coming into the battlefield again with their complement of Royal Marines. Whoa, what's this? A surface-to-air missile's been launched. So the aircraft take evading action, fire their flares to put the missile off, to ignore the aircraft's heat signature, and they get away with it. These evasive manoeuvres used very regularly on real deployment. So, the Hawks have now been called back in to help neutralise the surface-to-air missile threat. And they need to come in, neutralise that threat, and flush out the enemy from the compound. There.
Yeah, plenty.
So while the Marines keep the perimeter secure, we're waiting now. The battlefield commander has called the Hawks in. Satan 1 and 2 are their call signs. And I can see a nose light from the right. And they will be coming through. Obviously, surface-to-air missiles, a big worry. We'll bring them through with their bombs and their cannons to neutralise that threat. So there we are, but look, ladies and gentlemen, the enemy forces are now trying to escape using vehicles. So here comes the link from the right to stop the vehicles escaping. See links coming in to your right, ladies and gentlemen, and the Apache flying up behind to cut off any retreat. And the vehicle interdiction technique that you're about to see is used to stop vehicles as demonstrated here. It's been used successfully in theatres such as Iraq and Afghanistan. So helicopter comes to a quick stop. M3M machine gun in the door there, used to persuade, shall we say, the enemy forces to stop. Apache attack helicopter coming round into position behind so they can't retreat. And if they choose to reverse, then the links can fly sideways and make sure that they are always in range of that M3M machine gun in the door.
I can see that.
So we saw the maritime links earlier on and their roll demonstration. This is the Jungly Lynx helicopter from the Commando Helicopter Force. Showing there that the enemy have thought better of it and they're retreating back towards the forts. They're not going to go down without a fight. And if you look to your left, more Sea Kings are coming in to insert more Marines and equipment. Now that the vehicle threat is over, Marine 1, as the call sign is for the jungly Lynx, heads away to hold off just out of harm's way and wait further orders from the battlefield commander. So demonstrating the versatility here, we have 2 Sea Kings with loads and 3 loaded with Royal Marines. Worth saying, ladies and gentlemen, that one of the Sea Kings flying in the display today is a Falklands veteran. The airframe was aboard one of the carriers that went down as part of the task force and did fly. So we have a genuine Falklands veteran aircraft flying in the display. So more fast roping. Of course, once the troops are on the ground and then deployed for real, one of the things they check for first of all is moving that IED, any threats that were not perceived from the air. And it's again, the helicopter crew, more versatility, they're not down, they are still airborne, they can get out very quickly. The Marines are moving away from the helicopters, because if the helicopter has an engine failure whilst it's in the hopper, you have to land straight down. The Marines now forming that defensive circle, defensive perimeter, getting themselves sorted, popping smoke, throwing the smoke grenades to cover what they're doing from the enemy's eyes. Helicopters transitioning into forward flight. Crewmen in the doors, making sure the ropes are correct, feeding information onto the flight deck. Got the helicopters you see here. Royal Highness the Duke of Cornwall. William flies the Sea King for the Royal Air Force, and Prince Harry flies the Apache.
Yeah.
So the Marines now fire and manoeuvre towards the enemy.
400 meters east of my location. I'm telling the enemy in contact with small arms and heavy machine gun in support. Possible subfront also. I request 2 bomb impact fuse and 1 times 279 by strafe. Mandatory attack heading 260280. Full ready talk up. Marine 1, Satan 1, compare with weapons target match. Distance 0, 680, ready talk up. Your target sits on an airfield with an on-track port in centre. Full contact port. Contact port. Centre of that port is target. Full tally target in. Everyone, tally target in. Satan 1, cleared out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we can hear the battlefield commander calling in the airstrikes real time from the Lynx helicopter that's hovering above. That's where the transmissions you were hearing were coming from. We saw the surface-to-air missiles coming up, but the aircraft successfully evade those. And now we're going to have an artillery strike. So the Lynx will spot for the artillery. The artillery out of sight, now firing on the enemy base. And this is to try and stop the enemy retreat. The Lynx there we can see spotting for the artillery. So here we'll talk about where the shells fall and what adjustments they need to make.
Oh, if I run out, let me know.
So the enemy now in full retreat. The Royal Marines have some casualties down there, and we're going to need a casualty evacuation fairly shortly. Of course, casualties do occur, but the Royal Marines promise that anybody will be who's wounded on the battlefield will be in an operating theatre in a hospital within 1 hour from the point of wounding. That's the golden hour. We still have the artillery strike going on, and also left and right, ladies and gentlemen, Satan 1 and 2, the Hawks coming in for a further bombing run.
Hello.
Coordinated air attack from 2 different points. Obviously, if they are tracking the aircraft on the ground, coming in from different directions makes an awful lot of sense. So the ground troops are now ready to evacuate casualties. They've popped smoke to mark the landing site for the helicopters, and the helicopters now are coming in from the left. Once again, the Apache hovering over the battlefield, acting as top cover, while the Sea Kings land on to pick up the injured.
Oh, my hand.
Meanwhile, the troops on the ground act as force protection, protect the medics and casualties while they're being loaded onto the aircraft. The casualties will be taken back to the hospital ship HMS Argus, and she, of course, is an essential part of any task force.
What do you think I can see?
Worth saying while we watch this, ladies and gentlemen, that we have troops on the ground from 40 Commando Royal Marines, and also from the Armoured Support Group. From the Commando Helicopter Force, 845 Squadron, 846 Squadron are currently in Afghanistan, and 847 Squadron will be deploying soon. Here we see 845, 846 and 848. So these guys on a rotation, and as I say, everybody you see out there has served at least one tour in Afghanistan recently. So as the casualties are loaded aboard those helicopters, and you can see the Marines protecting the helicopters as they take off, we're expecting a final strike in to finish off the enemy from the Hawks. Have just been called in. Casualties now being worked on by surgical teams in the back of the helicopters. Each helicopter contains a full surgical team, and as I say, as soon as they're on the hospital ship, they'll go into a fully equipped operating theatre. And 20 seconds, we hear called from Satan 1 and 2 in for their final run. The enemy looking pretty weakened, but this ought to finish them off.
There it is.
So Hawk now popping up from below enemy radar, rolling inverted so the pilot can get a visual on the target, and then coming down the hill to drop the final bomb. And there we are, finally the enemy have been defeated. The Royal Marines stay where they are though, until they have confirmation from the battlefield commander that the battle's been won. And now we have the victorious friendly forces coming in to show their appreciation to you in the crowd. So give them a hand, ladies and gentlemen. They're running about there. They can hear you, they can see you obviously on the